David is my name. I was once in charge of the Kin crime family, which is reputed to be the biggest organization in the Kanto area. However, that was only recently. Now that my son has taken over as chairman, I'm relaxing and considering taking advantage of some of the experiences I've never had before. Visiting this primitive hot spring is one among those activities. Since I was the leader of the party, I have tended to stay at upscale inns up until now. However, as I've become older, I've learned to value the simplicity and serenity of a rural inn as a way to relax and release pent-up tension. Such a location is ideal. A rock-enclosed outdoor bath overlooking nothing but mountains. There are hardly any other visitors in this quiet inn, and the hallway creaks with every step I take. There's a vintage ping-pong table and even a vintage jukebox. I grab a bottle of iced latte from an almost empty refrigerator after I've finished my bath in the hot spring. After muttering to myself, "Nothing beats this after a hot bath," I settle into a massage chair that activates when I insert a coin. I return to my room after taking pleasure in the bath. I stop by the gift shop on the way, but it doesn't have anything interesting to offer. Well, this is pretty amazing, I believe. I don't notice anything in this place. At that moment, I hear the innkeeper's voice. "Please, enough already, I beg you." "Miss Innkeeper, hurry up. You are still operating a business here even if you claim that. All we're doing is ensuring you can operate it securely. That agreement is advantageous to both parties, isn't it? But I really am unable to pay at this time." "What are you saying? This is a pleasant spot for you. You have no excuse not to pay. However, very few visitors visit these days. Then do more advertising. Are you slacking off, or are you even advertising this place?" "I wish I could, but I don't have the funds to do that." "Hey now, advertising doesn't cost money anymore. Make use of social media. Spread the word on your own. Many others will see it if you do it. No cash is needed. If you're not even making an effort, you can't complain about guests not turning up. Believe me, I'm trying, but this inn is crumbling in some areas. Then make it right. Isn't it merely an excuse to leave things broken and say you can't? Repairs also cost money. Look, you want visitors, don't you? Then concentrate on repairing the inn first. Why not advertise it as a quaint old establishment? Then, no one would mind the shabby appearance. It would be the reason they came here." "Yeah, I guess, but it's not exactly making money now." "Yes, I understand that. I truly am unable to make any further payments, as I have stated." "Hey now, I don't want to hear that. There is nothing more to it than our kind request that you pay the protection charge. Therefore, why attempt to shut it down with a straightforward, 'I can't'? But there isn't any money, I assure you, and it's simply not doable without guests, as I mentioned. Look, come on now. An elderly man is even looking through trinkets over there. I take it that he is a guest. Serving your current clientele is what you must do. Over time, that will attract more people. Is that old man here by himself, even if you say that?" "No, he isn't." "What is the size of his group?" "It's a 3-person party." "You see, don't you have 3 guests? That will cover the protection price for this month. Don't act as though there aren't any visitors when in fact there are." "Yes, but there is hardly any profit even with 3 guests. The protection charge is just too much for me to handle on top of everything else. Possible to pay, regardless of what you claim. None of that matters to me, not the only one managing this inn. Am responsible for paying the chef, the doorman, and the maids. Not possible to pay, regardless of what you claim. That matters to me. It is your problem, not ours, to solve. Enough already. Since the period of the previous owner, monthly payments have been required. However, it was the previous owner's agreement, not mine, and that was back when we had more visitors. I never consented to it. You think you don't have to follow the previous owner's agreements, even out here in the sticks. You've managed to stay in business because the Kingston crime family has been watching over you. We've been protecting this place all these years. Now you're just going to ignore that. Please, I'm begging you, just leave me be. It's hard enough to keep this inn running as it is. Listen here, keep this up, and you're going to regret it. You keep saying you can't pay. You can't pay. Maybe we should just smash up this place so you'll never be able to open again. What? We wouldn't mind. It's an old rundown inn anyway. We can destroy it any time. No, in that case, there wouldn't be any inns left, would there? So you wouldn't have to pay protection fees anymore, right? Yeah, that's true. If that happens, you wouldn't have to pay anymore. That might actually work out better for you, don't you think? You got it. We're serious here. I'll be back tomorrow, so have it ready by then. The men left the inn, but their words were clearly meant to intimidate. Once they were gone, the innkeeper sank to the ground, looking as if she might collapse at any moment. Ma'am, I spoke gently to the innkeeper, who seemed lost in despair. She looked at me with vacant eyes, but as soon as she realized I was a guest, she managed to smile. I'm so sorry you had to witness that. What's going on? Those men look like mob. Ah, yes. Actually, they are. I heard something about a protection fee. Yes, they're demanding a monthly protection fee. But as you can see, we barely have any guests. And with the protection fee to pay every month, it's impossible to make ends meet. Yet, they've come again this month. Sounds like they're really pushing you. Yes, which is why I'm planning to close the inn at the end of this month. Really? Is that so? Yes, you're our final guest. I thought we might close without anyone else visiting, but I'm grateful to have at least one guest for the inn's final days. I see. Yes, I've done everything I could, but it's reached its limit. The place is falling apart. I've polished every day, but there's only so much you can do without real repairs. Are you truly okay with closing the inn? Well, it's a little embarrassing to tell you, but my grandmother started this inn. She raised my mother alone with its income. My mother often said it was only because of this inn that she could raise me. Later, she married, but my father didn't like working, so they divorced. And then, once again, the inn supported my family. It's been passed down to me, the third generation. I've tried to keep it going, but with the protection fees rising, I simply can't keep up. So even though I don't want to close, I have no choice. The innkeeper looked around the inn, her gaze lingering. I see. So this inn has been the lifeline for 3 generations. Yes, so ideally I wouldn't want to close it, but I suppose I have to. I understand. I looked at the old man thoughtfully, then spoke up again. Mom, yes, if the protection fee were gone, would you continue running this inn? Yes, without the protection fee, we could manage, even on a smaller scale. We still have some loyal guests. I see. Which group are those men with? The Kingston crime family. Got it. I'll take care of this for you. What? But look, I'm the chairman of the Kane crime family, the largest group in the Kanto region. There's nothing I can't handle. Oh, so you're the mob. Sorry if I startled you. The 2 men with me are senior members of my group. One of my top men insisted on sending them along. Since I was visiting a hot spring, I thought I wouldn't need them, but it seems like they'll come in handy after all. So don't worry about it. I'll make sure your inn is safe. But I don't want to be a burden. It's no trouble. I have some free time on my hands. But even if you help, I can't offer any kind of reward. We're really struggling. You don't need to worry about that. Just an old man's whim. Besides, this inn carries the memories of the previous owners. I'd hate to see it shut down. And if nothing else, it'll be a nice way to pass the time. Oh, things can't be expressed in words. Thank you so much. No need to thank me. I haven't even done anything yet. With that, I stepped away from the innkeeper and returned to my room. As I entered, my 2 senior members, noticing my return, greeted me with a bow, seated respectfully on the floor. "Welcome back, Mr. Kane. Hey, did you two get to try the hot springs yet?" "No, not yet." "I see. Well, before that, it looks like we have a little something interesting to take care of." "Interesting." "Yeah, a little helping hand." When I said that, the two of them exchanged puzzled looks. I explained what I had just witnessed to them. As expected from a senior member of the Kane group, he frowned upon hearing my words. "That's unforgivable. Should we go pay them a visit?" "Charging in with just the three of us might not be wise. We don't know how many they have. We'll end up getting beaten ourselves if we're not careful. So, call Owen and have him gather some men. Once they're here, we'll go and show them what's what." "Understood." Eric, one of my senior members, immediately contacted Owen and relayed my orders. Owen agreed and promised to send reinforcements our way. The following day, I got a message from Owen saying that the members had gathered and were on their way over here. Thinking it was just a matter of waiting, I settled into a sofa in the first-floor lounge. But soon enough, the same men from yesterday barged in again. "Hey, we're here to collect the protection money." The two mob men strutted in, their voices loud and overbearing. "Mr. Kane, looks like it's them." "Yeah, looks like they showed up a bit early. What should we do?" "Want to take them down now." "Let's try talking first. If we get rough here, the staff might be scared." "Good point." As they were talking, the innkeeper came over from the back. She looked as if she was completely troubled. The other staff had paused their work, watching anxiously. "Well, lady, got the money ready?" "I hope." "Well, the thing is—" "What do you mean, the thing is?" "Don't tell me you can't pay." "Yes, as things stand, there's just no way to come up with that amount." "If you can't pay, then use that body of yours to earn the money. One night's work would cover it, wouldn't it? Stop making excuses." With that, he knocked over a vase on the front desk. The beautifully arranged flowers tumbled to the floor, and he crushed them under his foot. Hey, take it easy. There's no need for rough stuff." "What was that, sir? Didn't you know? Collecting protection money is illegal these days, even in a quiet hot spring town like this. You can't escape the law." "Who the hell are you? Some cop or something?" "Nah, I'm not with the police." "Pah, like the mob cares about the law." "Are you stupid? These days, you'd better know the law if you want to avoid getting busted. Just because you're a mobster doesn't mean you're above justice. Shut up. Don't go acting all high and mighty with us. You're just some guest here to soak in the hot springs. If you don't want to get hurt, sit down and stay quiet." "Can't do that. I made a promise to this innkeeper yesterday." "I don't know what kind of promise you made, but you be wise to stay out of our business. Maybe it's you who should keep quiet and avoid any trouble." "What was that, old man? Do you know who you're talking to?" "Doesn't matter who you are. Just a couple of low-level thugs, I guess." "Who are you calling low-level thugs?" "We're members of the Kingston crime family. We've got a bit of a reputation around here. If you mock us, you'll regret it. Seems to me you'll be the ones regretting it. If you need funds for your group, try making an honest living somewhere else. What we do and where we do it is none of your business. Lady, if you're going to ask for help, maybe you should have chosen someone better than this old guy. Hate to disappoint, but while I may be old, I've got 2 young men here with me. Think you two can take them on? 2 on 2. We're not worried." "You're truly a reckless bunch, Mr. Kane. Should we take care of these guys?" "I don't care who he is. If he thinks he can take us down, he's got another thing coming. We've never lost a fight." "Well, I'd rather not cause any trouble inside the inn if I can avoid it." I glanced briefly at the innkeeper. Her face was pale. If we started a brawl here, something in this inn she cared about would probably get destroyed, and I didn't want to see her hurt by that. Take it outside. What's wrong with here? If we fight here, something in the inn will get broken. Don't you get that? Who cares if this rundown inn stuff gets smashed? It'll be shut down soon anyway. And why is that? That's up to the innkeeper, but if she can't pay the protection fee, this place is done for. I see. You people really are rotten to the core. But I have no intention of letting this inn close. Like I care. Eric, take these fools outside and deal with them. Understood. My senior members stepped forward, grabbed the two thugs by their arms, and hauled them out the door. Hey, what the hell are you doing? You just heard the chairman, didn't you? He told us to take you out. Prepare yourselves. You went and crossed Mr. Kane, chairman of the Kane crime family. You'll see what that means soon enough. The Kane crime family? That's right. That man over there is Mr. Kane himself. You're lucky he isn't taking you on himself. He might have ended your lives if he did, but since it's just us, we'll spare you that much. Don't give me that crap. I don't care if you're the Kane crime family. We're the Kingston crime family, and here on our turf, things run our way, no matter who you are. Save it. In a fight, there's no turf. You're just flies buzzing around. All right, enough talk. Take them down quickly. We don't want a scene scaring away any guests. Yes, Mr. Kane. All right then. Nothing personal. With that, my senior members charged at the two men. The thugs tried to run, startled by the speed of their attack, but there was no escape as they seized the men. Fists flew, landing squarely on their faces. The men were pinned to the ground before they had a chance to fight back, taking a final blow. Idiots thinking they could stand up to us with that kind of strength. They're like helpless babies. Just then, Eric's phone rang. Mr. Kane, it's from our underboss. He says the reinforcements have arrived and are waiting outside the Kingston crime family office. Good. They got here faster than I expected. All right, take these two along as a little gift for the Kingston crime family. Yes, sir. Ma'am, do you have anything we can use to tie these guys up? They might start thrashing around otherwise. Oh yes, I'll get something right away. The innkeeper rushed inside and returned with some rope. This is all I could find. That'll do just fine. It's just trash we're tying up after all. I handed the rope to my senior members, who bound the men and tossed them into the inn's van. Don't worry, I'll settle things. Just wait for the good news. Thank you so much. With that, we started the van and headed for the Kingston crime family headquarters. Their office wasn't anything impressive, just a rundown building. From the steady traffic of men going in and out, it looked like they had a decent number of members. Hey, how many members does the Kingston crime family have? We're a big group around here. They've got less than 50. Is that so? Less than 50, and that's a big group. Don't make me laugh. Hey, don't mock us. 50 is plenty. The Kane crime family has 500. 50 doesn't even begin to compare. Shet. Look at all these cars parked around here. What's going on? Indeed, several cars and vans surrounded the building. Well, this should be enough, I said, stepping out of the car. The moment I appeared, my men spilled out from their cars, lining up in formation. Every one of them stood at attention, bowing their heads toward me. Good work, everyone. What is this? These are my men. Not even all of them, but I'm no fool. I didn't plan on taking on the Kingston crime family with just 3 guys. With this many of you, with a force like this, even if they have 50 members, the Kingston crime family should be manageable. All right, let's go pay Kingston's boss a visit. Leading the way, I headed to the 3rd floor office of the Kingston crime family. Behind me were 2 of their men, 2 senior members, and our senior member who had just arrived with his crew. We were more than prepared if things got ugly. I rang the doorbell, waiting for someone inside to open it. Soon, a junior member opened the door. I strode in without removing my shoes, stopping in the center of the room before tossing the two tied-up thugs onto the floor. What is this? A little gift. A gift? Who the hell are you? I'm David, chairman of the Kane crime family. Chairman of the Kane crime family? Why is the head of the Kane crime family? Mr. Kingston, the boss himself, couldn't hide his surprise at the sudden appearance of the Kane group. But we're Kane, the largest group in the region. Perhaps realizing it would be dangerous not to handle things calmly, he asked me to take a seat on the sofa. But around us, Kingston's men were tense, ready to pounce at any moment. I don't mind sitting, but could you calm down your soldiers? It's hard to have a civil conversation with this kind of atmosphere. Ah, yes, of course. Hey, you lot, sit down. And you, bring some tea for the chairman. Upon hearing his words, the members, still exuding a tense and intimidating atmosphere, reluctantly took their seats. Is this better? I nodded, taking a sip from the cheap tea they brought. So, can you tell me what's going on here? I fixed my gaze on Kingston, then glanced over at the two bound men, a smirk tugging at the corner of my mouth. So it seems your men have been demanding outrageous protection fees, haven't they? What you see, I'm currently staying at a lovely inn run by a certain innkeeper. I stepped down, his head of my group, and decided to take it easy in the hot springs. It's a good inn, you know? Ever been there? No, not really. I don't usually visit local hot springs. Yeah, it's like that when places are close by, isn't it? But you should give it a try sometime. It's quite comfortable. Maybe. Yeah, but of course, if you go, you'd better make sure you don't look like a mob. Yes, naturally. It seems you understand, don't you? How much trouble it causes when mobs show up at a regular person's business, you know. Yes, of course. If they know we're mob, customers stay away. Exactly. So if that's the case, why are your men going in and out of that inn looking like thugs? Oh. Well, is it because you're in the middle of making money? Yeah. Oh, I see. But you know, these days, demanding protection fees isn't exactly legal. That's true. Right? You know what I mean. Then if the police catch wind of this, they'll start cracking down, and your men will end up in jail. So why are these guys demanding such ridiculous fees and resorting to threats on top of that? Well, we're having financial troubles ourselves. In that case, you should find other ways to raise money. You don't have to go hounding a struggling inn for cash. But protection fees have been a tradition for ages. Tradition? Do you think that poor inn, on the brink of closing down, can survive with fees like that? In the old days, men believed in keeping the weak alive, but not thriving. But you're out here squeezing the life out of them, and your men's methods are downright abusive. Even if you say that, Mr. Kane, sure, your group is big, but I'd appreciate it if you stayed out of our business. Oh, is that so? We're not under your organization, nor are we allied. This is our way of doing things. I'd rather you didn't interfere. So, what you're saying is that I'll have to make you understand by force. What you're telling me is you won't understand unless I convince you. Is that it? No, look, I didn't come here to start a fight. I came here to talk. If you keep doing things like this, there won't be any honest folks left to run these inns. Even in a hot springs area, if no one's willing to operate an inn, you won't be getting anything out of it either, will you? Well, that's true. True. Then it'd be better to resolve this peacefully, wouldn't it? I understand your point, but those protection fees are an essential part of our group's income. I can't just give that up. You're really making this difficult. I've said I don't want to fight, but you're not making it easy to avoid. Look, every place has its own way of doing things, just like you have your own way over there. No sooner had he said that than Kingston stood up, looking ready to charge at me. At that moment, the other members also began throwing punches all at once. But just then, the two tied-up men on the floor struggled to warn him. No, boss. There are tons of the Kane crime family men outside. If we start something, we'll be crushed. Boss, please stop. Hearing that voice, Kingston moved closer to the window and looked outside. What caught his eye was a fleet of cars and members of the Kane group. No way. Why are so many of the Kane crime family here? Don't underestimate the Kane crime family. With a single word from me, I can gather this many men. Everyone stop. Stop right now if you don't want this group to be destroyed. Stand down. Kingston's men froze, lowering their fists at his command. I don't think we really need a group like yours. It might be better to just wipe it out. No. Please, if this group is destroyed, it's not just me. All my men will be left on the streets. Please don't take down my group. The fierce resolve he had shown earlier had completely vanished, and Mr. Kingston sank to the floor in desperation. Seeing their leader bowing in defeat, all the Kingston crime family members followed suit, dropping to their knees in apology. Well, if the boss bows, the men follow. Huh, looks like your guys are loyal to you, Mr. Kingston. Yes, they're good men. Please, anything but destroying the group. You think I can just let this go because you ask nicely? Maybe not, but from now on, we won't collect any more protection fees. We'll figure out other ways. Just please spare the group. Mr. Kingston bit his lip, looking anguished, and lowered his head further in apology. All right. If you're promising to put an end to this for good, then I'll hold off on destroying your group. But that doesn't mean we're done here. You've extorted quite a bit from that overtime, haven't you? We don't even know how much we've collected over the years. Is that so? I suppose it's hard to keep track of, isn't it? Yes, exactly. So, if we agree not to collect any more from them, fine. We'll overlook what you've taken so far, but you'll still owe a penalty fee. A penalty fee. That's right. About $1 million should cover it. $1 million. But we don't have that kind of money. There isn't enough in our reserves. Then take out a loan. Conveniently, I've got our loan specialist here. Perfect timing, wouldn't you say, Al? Loan? Yes, we'll loan you $1 million, and you can pay it back that way. Understood. I'll have those two pay it back. What? Boss, we can't handle a $1 million debt. Shut up. You're the ones who caused this mess. You'll take out the loan and pay it off. Good. Get Scene over here and have him draw up the paperwork. Upon giving the order, Eric took out his phone and contacted Sean. When Sean, who had been waiting outside, came running over, I instructed them to each lend $500,000. Now, you two will each get $500,000, but you'll be working it off on a crab fishing boat. Nothing to it. Just a bit cold out there. You'll get used to it soon enough. Just make sure you don't fall overboard, all right? Nobody's coming to save you if you do. Boss, stop. Stop crying. This is for the sake of the group, so go out there and work hard. Once the two were taken away, I gathered my senior members, and we headed back to the inn. Oh, I'll come back, and thank you so much. Sorry if we caused you any worry. Taking the $500,000 from Sean, I handed it to the innkeeper. This here is the penalty fee I wrung out of Mr. Kingston. Use it to rebuild this inn. It might not cover everything you've paid over the years, but it's a start, and you won't have to worry about the Kingston crime family coming back. If, by some slim chance, they ever do, you call me right away. Understand? I've decided to keep an eye on this place myself. As long as I'm around, I won't let anything like this happen to you again. Oh, thank you. I don't even know how to express my gratitude. No need for thanks. But in return, let my men enjoy the hot springs. They came all the way from Kanto after all, and I'd like them to try the food here too. But so many of them. Don't worry. I'll cover all the costs. Don't go giving us discounts either. I'm the chairman of the Kane crime family. I can handle it. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Even for your men. They're like family to me. All right, listen up, you lot. No acting tough or causing trouble. Don't do anything to bother the innkeeper. We're staying just one night, and then tomorrow we're out of here." The members were overjoyed, thinking they'd get to soak in the hot springs. The staff, too, hurriedly began preparing the rooms, saying, "We'll get everything ready right away." A couple of months later, I received an invitation from the inn. It was from the newly renovated establishment, with a note from the innkeeper filled with words of gratitude. Tom is my name. I had no father when I was growing up. Not having a father was commonplace for me since I was a young child. I knew my mother loved and treasured me much, so I never truly felt alone as long as she was around. But as I became older, I understood that most people accepted having a father at home as normal. One of my friends asked me why I didn't have a father while I was in first grade, I believe. I asked my mother about it for the first time at that point. "Why don't I have a father, Mom?" Out of sheer curiosity, I inquired. However, my question seemed to shake my mom. I knew I couldn't ask her any more questions when I saw the tears in her eyes. I was well aware as a child that I should not inquire about this subject. I cut my mom off just as she was gathering the courage to speak. "It's all right, never mind. Mom, as long as I have you." She gave me a tight hug, and I gave her one in return. At the time, I didn't realize the situation in our family, but I do recall making the decision to protect my mother and never to bring her to tears again. Despite my mom's hard work, life wasn't always simple for the two of us. I therefore began looking for a part-time work as soon as I started high school. In my first year of high school, I was 6 feet tall and confident in my strength from weight training and jogging. I therefore searched for employment that required a lot of physical labor, like construction. At that point, I discovered a certain employment. "I'm going to find a part-time job, Mom. I'm considering applying after finding an excellent one." "A job that is part-time. Are you certain it's secure? Nothing harmful, isn't it?" I laughed at my anxious mother. "I wouldn't take any risks. The job, which involves scaffolding, pays well." I presented the job posting to her. I spoke to my mother since I thought she appeared momentarily astonished. "Mom, is something wrong? You appeared rather taken aback just now." "It isn't anything. The individuals in these photos have amazing muscles, don't you think? I wonder if this job would give you muscles like these." I chuckled with Mom as she teased me. "Just be careful not to hurt yourself lifting heavy things." "Don't worry, I'll exercise caution. It's time for me to start making my own money. You don't need to put forth much effort." "I'm grateful, Tom. I apologize for any inconvenience. It's acceptable to take some time off and have fun because you're still a high school student." "You know I get it. I'll manage work and play. Don't worry, I'll study hard." I began my first part-time employment in this manner. I'd attended and passed the interview at Royal Construction Company, which was seeking scaffolding workers. On a Sunday, I arrived at my first job site. "Hello, are you the guy who started today, Tom?" It was a sun-tanned, delightfully gorgeous man who smiled brightly at me. "Yes, I'm new and don't know much, but I'm excited." I greeted Nathan respectfully. "You've got a lot of energy. That's great. I'm Nathan." Nathan was friendly and easy to talk to, and I immediately liked him. At 25 years old, Nathan was like a brother to me, an only child. Sure, as a job, there were times when he had to be strict, but I understood it was natural to be corrected when I made mistakes. Remember, Tom, you're still in high school, so there might be people on the side who act unpleasantly towards you. No matter what, always greet them politely and maintain your manners, Nathan advised me. Nathan taught me of the harsh realities of society. Through this part-time job, I learned a lot about how to interact with people, how to keep up my motivation, and how to handle those I didn't get along with. Strangely, I could accept things from Nathan that I couldn't when told by a teacher or my mom. Even when my teachers or mom told me the same things, I somehow couldn't take it to heart. But when Nathan told me, it somehow just clicked. When you graduate from high school, what do you plan to do, Tom? Are you going to get a job somewhere? Nathan asked me when I was in my senior year of high school. I come from a single-parent family, so in thinking of working after graduating, I responded, nodding. At my words, Nathan said something unexpected. How about working with me then? Only if you're interested, of course. Nathan spoke with an unusual hint of nervousness. I was incredibly happy. Nathan, whom I admired like a brother, was asking me to work with him. I had no intention of saying anything but yes. Thank you so much, Nathan. I would love to. I really want to work with you. I shook hands with Nathan, filled with joy. Nathan smiled with relief. Thanks. I was actually really nervous about asking you. I've been anxious since last night, wondering what I would do if you said no, he admitted. I burst out laughing at his unexpected confession. Nathan said he wanted to see my mom, so after my high school graduation, I proposed that the three of us, my mom, Nathan, and I, go out for a meal together. My mom, skilled enough to manage a small restaurant, eagerly prepared for the meal. Nice to meet you. I'm Tom's mother. He's always in your care, she said. Nice to meet you. I apologize for the late introduction. I work at Royal Construction Company. My name is Nathan, he replied. I watched their friendly exchange with a grin. Neither of them is usually like this, but their nervousness was so amusing that I couldn't stop laughing. The three of us enjoyed a delicious meal my mom had prepared. Since the restaurant had a reserved sign at the entrance, we could relax without being disturbed. When dessert arrived, Nathan spoke up again. I know Tom has probably told you, but I'd really like to work with him. I know my words as a young man might not be very reliable, but I'll take good care of Tom, he said earnestly. Seeing Nathan speak so seriously, my mom had a calm expression. Unreliable. Far from it. Tom always talks about Nathan when he comes home from his part-time job. He admires him so much. I have no worries at all. Please take good care of my son, she said. I felt a warmth in my eyes as my mom spoke. Stealing a glance at Nathan, I noticed his eyes were moist too. Seeing my two beloved ones caring about me made me feel truly happy. Thus, I ended up working at Royal Construction Company after graduation, marking the start of my professional life. Tom, are you ready for the next site? Jess, leave it to me. Everything's set. I've been working since high school, so I understand the basics. As a young, ready-to-go worker, I've worked in various places. No matter the site, I worked hard, keeping in mind everything Nathan taught me. As time passed, a turning point came when Nathan turned 35 and I was 26. Tom, actually, I've been transferred to Royal Construction Company in New York, Nathan announced. Really? Nathan, that's amazing. The main office in New York? That's a big deal. Nathan was incredibly skilled and had used his extensive field experience to advance as a manager, continuously delivering impressive results. It seemed his achievements had caught the attention of the headquarters. He had especially made an impact by advocating for the improvement of workers' conditions and had achieved notable results. He was planning to move to the HR department at the headquarters. Sorry, Tom. I wish I could take you to New York with me, but I don't have that kind of authority. Nathan looked genuinely regretful. It's okay, Nathan. I'll work hard here and achieve enough to be called to New York myself. Sure, it would be lonely without Nathan, but I had learned so much from him. I believed I could manage well even in his absence, using what he had taught me. I'm glad to see you've grown so much. I'll do my best in New York, and you do your best here too. Spending the night talking until morning became a cherished memory. Nathan and I always kept in touch, and when we had time, I would visit him in New York, or he would come back here, and we'd have fun. Tom, sorry, can you talk right now? I received a call from Nathan in a serious tone 6 months later. What's wrong? It's rare to hear you sound so serious. Is something wrong? Feeling a bit uneasy, I listened intently to Nathan's words. I was surprised by the unexpected news from Nathan. From today, I will be under your care. My name is Tom. I look forward to working with you. As I introduced myself, applause broke out. Having joined Royal Construction Company right after high school, this was my first experience in another workplace. This was a subsidiary of Royal Construction Company, mainly dealing with construction materials. I was here for training to learn more about materials. All right, nice to meet you. I'm the manager, Michael. Michael didn't bother to hide his annoyance. He was not yet 30, younger than me, and already a manager. He clearly knew he was elite. Then, just 15 minutes into starting work, Michael's scolding came out of nowhere. Hey, Brandon, you've got the numbers wrong again. How many times is this? Damn it. I'm so sorry, Michael. Even though it was my first day, I quickly noticed a problem in this company. Michael's reprimands were quite intimidating. Certainly, making mistakes is not good, but there was also a problem with his way of scolding. I felt very uneasy witnessing this, and I furrowed my brows. 2 months later, when I had gotten a bit more used to the job and the people, an unusually harsh scolding from Michael was directed at Brandon. Hey, Brandon, are you mocking me? The numbers and the estimate you prepared are wrong. I had to apologize to the client because of your mistake. But sir, those numbers, you loudly told me to input those exact numbers the other day. Brandon, trembling, attempted to counter Michael's accusation. I knew Brandon wasn't mistaken because I had noted down those numbers too. What? I never said that. Listen, what I said was this. Michael loudly recited numbers clearly different from before. I couldn't stand his behavior of blaming his subordinates for his own mistakes and trying to shirk responsibility. Brandon was already on the verge of tears. Understand this. This is not my mistake. It's yours. Do you hear me, you useless fool? At that moment, my patience snapped. Michael, with all due respect, that was your mistake, not Brandon's. The room buzzed when I spoke up. Probably no one had ever directly confronted Michael before, or if they had, I hadn't seen it since I arrived. Huck. Tom, what are you talking about? My mistake. Huh. Where's your proof? I don't make mistakes. I was remarkably calm in the face of Michael's red-faced anger. I have proof. When you loudly instructed Brandon to make the estimate, I also took notes. I pulled out a memo from my drawer detailing the date, time, who gave the instructions, and what the content was. Reading from the memo, I recited the numbers Michael had instructed Brandon to use. Naturally, these numbers matched perfectly with the estimate Brandon had prepared. What? Why would you take such notes? Michael asked incredulously. Michael always gives instructions rapidly, so I took notes in case Brandon missed anything, I explained. Michael, shaking with anger, glared at me. Tom, you'll regret this. With a look of frustration in his eyes, he grabbed his bag and coat and stormed out. When Michael left, a palpable sense of relief spread throughout the company. Tom, thank you. That was really a lifesaver. Brandon came over to my desk and thanked me. No, it's nothing. I just couldn't hold back and had to speak up. I'm sorry if I overstepped, I replied, apologizing to Brandon. Not at all. It was a relief to have someone step in for once, he said. Hearing this, I immediately went to Christopher's desk, the department head. Christopher, what's going on here? I've only been here for about 2 months, but Michael's behavior and words are clearly over the line, aren't they? It seems strange to me. Despite being higher in rank than Michael, Christopher was frankly quite inconspicuous. He never reprimanded Michael. He just watched. Christopher looked uncomfortable at my remark. I leave the training of the staff to Michael. It may seem excessive to you, but that's his way of doing things. I cannot do anything about it. Do you think such behavior is acceptable? I challenged. Brandon stopped me as I was about to get heated up. Tom, come here for a second. Brandon pulled me aside to the break area. You might not have heard this, Tom, but Michael behaves that way because of his father, he explained. Michael's father? What do you mean? I was really confused and asked Brandon for clarification. Actually, Michael's dad, Dad K, is the executive vice president at Rio Construction Company's headquarters. That's why nobody, including Christopher, can complain. At first, Christopher and also the manager, Steve, used to caution him. Yes, in that company, only Michael and Christopher hold positions. I had heard the manager was on assignment, but I never knew that was the reason behind it. Everyone has their own life and family to think about. The posing Michael can lead to serious trouble. I see. So that's the reason, but it doesn't justify Michael's tyranny. Brandon, aren't you struggling? Brandon gave her a smile at my question and shared his true feelings. It would be a lie to say I'm not struggling. I can't quit my job because my mother is sick and hospitalized. I grew up in a single-mother household, so she only has me. Really, that stuff I can relate to because I'm in the same situation. I totally understand how important a mother is. We were technically not on break, so we wrapped up our conversation quickly and got back to work. During break time, we'd go to a nearby diner and talk about various things. Since we both grew up in single-mother households, we found a lot of common ground in our childhood stories, making time fly by. I wish I could have talked to you sooner, Tom. I feel like I can do better with you around. Really? I'm glad to hear that. Let's go out for a meal again. We made this promise and returned to our work. In the afternoon, I was happy to have made a friend in Brandon, despite the troubling situation with Michael. Michael didn't return to the office that afternoon. The next day, Michael came to the office with a smirk, looking at me. Hey, Tom, you take care of this job. Michael left a task on my desk that I had never handled before. Michael, this doesn't seem to be my responsibility, I said. What? Shut up and do it. It's my order. Don't pick and choose your work. I realized that Michael's demeanor had shifted toward me. Michael, I'll do it. Tom hasn't done this before. Brandon tried to intervene, but Michael sneered. What? I told Tom to do it. Assigning tasks to subordinates is my job. Don't you butt in. When Brandon tried to persist, I stopped him with a hand gesture. It was useless to say anything to Michael. Understood. I'll do it, I said. You should have said so from the start. Hey, hurry up. Michael returned to his seat with a very satisfied look on his face. From that day, as expected, I began to receive unreasonable treatment from Michael. For example, he would deliberately give me wrong instructions, causing trouble for our clients, or he would suddenly appear at the end of a negotiation I had arranged and take the credit for it. Michael, it's troubling when you do things like that. The clients were also confused when I said that. Michael scoffed at me and replied, It's fine. Taking credit is also part of a boss's job. I felt a deep contempt for Michael, who laughed heartily that day. Feeling incredibly exhausted, I decided to visit my mom's small diner in Nebraska for the first time in a while. Mom, I'm home. Is the diner closed today? I entered the diner, pulling the door with a "Closed Today" sign on it. Then my mom raised her voice in a slightly flustered manner. Tom. Oh my, welcome back. I waved at my mom, who came out from behind the counter with a smile. Sorry, Mom, I came suddenly without contacting you. It's okay. Of course, have a seat. Oh, my mom froze as she looked at the counter. I hadn't seen him from where I was, but there was a man sitting at the counter. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not realize you were here. I apologized hastily. I thought he was a customer, but then I remembered the "Closed Today" sign on the diner door and wondered, What was this man doing inside? Could he be a friend of my mom's? No, I'm the one who should apologize. I insisted on being let in by your mother. Are you her son? The man, looking at me with a gentle smile, seemed to be around the same age as my mom. Could he be around the same age as my mom? He had an air of refinement, and his attire appeared high-end. I had a feeling I'd seen him somewhere before, but I couldn't quite recall. Yes, I'm Tom, her son. I greeted him respectfully. So, you're Tom. Yes, I see. I see. I glanced at my mom, noticing her eyes were moist, and so were the man's. I had a hunch about this man's identity, and my heart started pounding loudly. Mom, is this gentleman? Could he possibly be? The two exchanged a subtle look, and then the man nodded. He proceeded to tell us everything. It was quite shocking, and I struggled to comprehend it all. That night, I was overwhelmed with various emotions and hardly slept. The next day, feeling sleepy, I was greeted at work by Michael's usual smirking smile. I've been waiting for you, Tom. Do this today. As soon as I sat down, he handed me a flyer for a trip to Hawaii. What is this about? We're taking a company trip to Hawaii. You take care of the reservations. There's a travel agency we always use. Coordinate with them. I had grown accustomed to being given decisions as if they were already made. If there was a precedent, there must be someone in charge, so it should be manageable. Looking at the date, it was more than a month away. I suppressed the urge to sigh and replied, Understood. I'll get right on it. After a lot of back and forth with the travel agency, I somehow managed to secure the reservations. In reality, it was incredibly difficult, but finally, it was done. Then, on the day of the trip, I was at the airport. I had arrived early, but as the meeting time approached, there was no sign of anyone else. 60 people were supposed to come. Looking around, I found not a single familiar face. Even when the meeting time arrived, nobody showed up. Panicking, I called Christopher, but got no response. So, I called Michael. Michael answered right away. Hello. What's up, Tom? His voice was filled with amusement. I confronted Michael in a frantic tone. Michael, today is the trip to Hawaii, right? Weren't we supposed to meet at the airport? Michael began to speak, barely containing his laughter. We're all having lunch at a different location right now. Oh, not everyone. Brandon's not here. I told Brandon that the airport was changed. Maybe he's also alone at the airport right now. Michael burst into loud laughter on the other end of the phone. Not only Michael's laughter, but also the voices of others laughing could be heard. I was so angry I could barely contain myself. My whole body was shaking with rage. I clenched my free hand tightly, trying to calm down. The thought of Brandon being subjected to the same treatment was unforgivable. Unaware of my anger, Michael continued cheerfully, Well, if you pay the full cancellation fee, you can come here. It's all out of pocket, though. Can you afford it? Please, Tom. Fed up with his attitude of looking down on people, I finally lost my patience. That's it. I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. I laughed through my nose as I said to Michael, pay the full cancellation fee out of my pocket and join you? You're joking. Every single time you do whatever you want, everyone there, you're all fired. A notice will be coming from the headquarters soon. Just wait and see. Michael stopped laughing at my words, now speaking with a hint of panic different from before. It seemed my mention of a notice from the headquarters struck a nerve. Wait, what are you talking about? I didn't answer him, but hung up and immediately received a call from Brandon. I quickly answered, thinking he must have tried calling multiple times. Tom, where are you? Michael told me that the airport was changed, and I came to the one he mentioned, but there's no one here. I explained the situation to a panicked Brandon. Brandon was speechless at Michael's appalling behavior and then said with difficulty, Why do we have to endure this? What did we ever do to him? Don't worry, Brandon. Hard work and honesty always pay off in the end. Just wait for what happens after the break. After hanging up with Brandon, I made a phone call to a certain place. 4 days later, after the summer vacation ended, the company resumed. Good morning, Tom. Thanks for all your encouragement. Brandon immediately thanked me as soon as we met. Don't mention it. What I said was true. See what's happening. Brandon looked puzzled, but I just smiled back at him. Then Michael, unlike Brandon, gave me a nasty smile when he saw me. What's up, Tom? You said something about a notice from the headquarters about being fired, but nothing came. You just said that in a fit of anger. Huh. There were snickers from around, but I wasn't fazed. I knew what was about to happen. Interesting. Just as I heard this, a man's voice came from the entrance. This is a terrible work environment. The manager behaves like this, and no one says anything. He had a grim look on his face as if he had seen something terribly unpleasant. Indeed, it's embarrassing to think this is one of our group companies, said the man who had just appeared. It was Nathan. He waved at me, so I waved back. Then another man with a panicked look, whom I had never seen before, was there. Dad, why are you here? Michael was trembling as he saw the unexpected guests and his own father. The man with Nathan was Michael's father. Ken, what's this all of a sudden? Outsiders can't just barge in here. Michael was red in the face, but Ken, on the other hand, yelled out with a pale look. Hey, what are you saying? This man is Baker, the president of Royal Construction Company. The room buzzed at that revelation. The president? What? Eeg, the president? Well, I suppose you wouldn't know. It's understandable since we're a subsidiary and don't interact directly. I appear in company newsletters and such, but I doubt you remember my face. The man, the current president of Royal Construction Company, said nonchalantly. I came here because I received reports of various problems in this company. I decided to come and see for myself. He continued, What? Who would say such a thing? Michael murmured up to that point, then widened his eyes and pointed at me. Apparently, he was unaware of the common courtesy that it's rude to point at people. It was you, wasn't it? How dare you snitch? President Baker yelled out, his voice several times louder than Michael's. What kind of a fool yells at his subordinates for his own mistakes? Ken, what's become of your son? Ken and Michael jumped in shock, and the other employees were startled by the loud voice. Let's change the location. Prepare the reception room. Christopher, who had been silently observing until then, hurriedly guided everyone to the reception room. President Baker, Nathan, myself, Ken, Michael, and Christopher took their seats as a female employee served tea and left the room. President Baker began, So, Michael, I hear you've been intimidating your subordinate and mocking them in front of other employees. Michael glanced at me briefly but smoothly lied. Carly, seated next to his father, seemed more composed than before. No, that's a misunderstanding, he replied. Oh, a misunderstanding? So you're saying you didn't do such things? Yes, I swear I didn't, but I admit my guidance might have been perceived that way due to my inadequacy. For that, I'm deeply sorry, Michael said. Michael took an attitude of respect. His father, Ken, backed him up. If I may, President Baker, I did hear the earlier remarks, and while I thought the way he said it was problematic, I can believe he always behaves that way, Ken said. I see. I understand your point now. Play that recording, President Baker said, signaling to Nathan with his eyes. Yes, President Baker. Right away. When Nathan played the voice recorder from his chest pocket, Michael and Brandon's voices were heard. It was the recording of the reprimand from the day I arrived here. Michael turned pale as he listened to the voice recording. How did this? Why? I'd recorded it. I was asked to by Steve. Here, actually, my coming here was not only for training, but also to observe your behavior." Michael looked utterly confused. "Why? Why would you investigate me?" Nathan explained the situation calmly. "Steve came to me with his concerns. Your terrible attitude was too much to ignore. When he tried to address it, he was transferred, possibly due to pressure from your father. The remaining staff were very worried, and he asked if something could be done." Michael looked shocked. He clearly had not been expecting Steve to have made such a request. Ken was holding his head, troubled by Nathan's story. "That's why I had asked Tom, who might rush to investigate the situation at this company. I'm sorry, Tom, for putting you through this. Michael, your behavior up to now is unacceptable, but what you did with the trip is beyond forgiveness." Nathan's face was red with anger throughout this. The voice recorder continued to play Michael's problematic statements from day to day. Michael's face grew paler and paler. "Michael, after hearing your own words again, what do you think?" President Baker asked quietly. Michael was speechless. Ken seemed like he was about to say something, but as the voice recorder played the airport conversation between Michael and Emmy, he fell silent. "Listen, those in higher positions must be careful when admonishing their subordinates. Even when they make mistakes, only the mistake should be addressed, not their character," President Baker said, echoing words often said by Nathan. "You'll all face the consequences of your actions. You're all fired. This company will be closed down. Those who can't value their subordinates are a negative influence on the company." Upon hearing this, Michael yelled at President Baker, "Why am I fired? Huh. Don't joke around. This company is only functioning because of me." Ken dragged his spitting son away. "Don't you understand yet, son? You reaped what you sowed. You've even implicated me. What are you going to do about this?" Michael asked. "Dad, why are you stopping me? I don't understand what I did wrong." As Michael continued to rant, Ken and Christopher dragged him out of the room. In the now quiet reception room, Nathan, President Baker, and I sat down, exhaling deeply. Really, not realizing his faults after all that is just crazy. I could only manage a rueful smile at Nathan's words. President Baker also smiled ruefully and said, "I didn't expect Ken's son to be so unresponsive to reason. You must have been under a lot of stress. I truly apologize for that. It's fine, really. I like working with Nathan and wanted to be of help. Plus, I guess I was able to help Dad, right?" I was extremely nervous calling President Baker Dad in the flow of the conversation, my heart pounding rapidly. Yes, President Baker of Royal Construction Company was my father. Unexpectedly, my father had been close by all this time. He looked at me wide-eyed. "I'm sorry. That was presumptuous of me." As I fumbled nervously, Nathan burst out laughing. "Nathan, it's not funny. Don't worry. President Baker is touched, right? President, that Tom called you Dad." At those words, my father nodded vigorously, his voice choked with emotion. "I never thought Tom would call me Dad. I'm so happy. Sorry, I'm getting emotional," he said, starting to cry, genuinely remembering the first time I met him at Mum's diner. I thought about the atmosphere between my mother and father. My father told me about the past. He was a struggling architecture student dating my mom, living a tough life. When he was dating my mom, I was a poor college student aspiring to be an architect and was living a tough life. When I almost couldn't pay my tuition due to family circumstances, I met the daughter of the then president of Royal Construction Company. Somehow, she fell in love with me at first sight and offered to help with my tuition and proposed marriage. When my mom found out, she disappeared from my dad's life. My dad searched desperately for her but couldn't find her, and after much deliberation, he accepted the help, graduated from college, married the daughter, and took over the company. I'm really sorry. I know no amount of apologies will suffice, but I truly am sorry. My dad apologized, and at first, I couldn't grasp the reality of it all, overwhelmed by the amount of information. My mom said to me, "Tom, I found out I was pregnant with you after I had disappeared from his life. I left because I thought marrying the daughter of Royal Construction Company would better fulfill his dreams than staying with someone unremarkable like me." My mom looked at my dad with a kind face. That was when I realized, yes, my mom truly loved him. When I found out I was pregnant, I was truly happy. I was happy to have you born. It was hard, but you grew up to be such a kind child, she said with a tearful smile. And then I received a letter from your mom. It was when you were in elementary school, with a photo of you wearing your backpack. I was really surprised, but also very happy, he said, showing me the photo of me that he treasured in his diary. At that time, my wife and my father-in-law were still alive, so I couldn't do anything. It's no excuse, but I could only contact your mom after my wife and father-in-law had passed away. My dad apologized again from the bottom of his heart. I understand. I'm an adult now, and I understand that men and women have their own circumstances. I don't feel unhappy because my mom took good care of me, and strangely, I don't hate you either, I said after a moment of silence, sharing my true feelings. I was busy comforting the two of them as they burst into tears. Once they calmed down, I reported to my dad about the matter Nathan had asked me about. When I mentioned the trip to Hawaii, my dad got furious. "What's that about? I can't forgive such a person. Nathan and HR, right? I'll sort this out right away. Wait for me," he said as he left the small diner. It goes without saying that I soon received a barrage of calls from Nathan, who must have heard from my dad. Tom, what do you mean you're the son of President Baker?" His confusion was severe, but now it's a funny story. Thank you, Tom. As a father and as a president, I will act in a way that I won't be ashamed of from now on. After holding back his tears, my dad nodded. And then I remembered something. "Dad, I have a favor to ask." Soon after, there was a directive, and the company was set to close, leading to everyone's resignation. Nathan said it was an overly bold way to lay people off, and he wasn't wrong. Afterward, I was set to go to the main office in New York, and I would be working with Nathan again. Now I'm planning to do my best as Nathan's right-hand man in HR. "Oh, Tom. Good morning." I was greeted at the entrance of the company. It was Brandon. "Brandon, good morning. How's your mom?" "Yes, thanks to you. President Baker recommended a great hospital, and she's heading in the right direction." I was worried when I heard the company was closing. In fact, I had asked my dad to let Brandon work at the headquarters and to recommend a good hospital for his mom. Steve, who had been on assignment, was also back at the headquarters. I wanted Brandon, who had been working hard even through tough times and was targeted by Michael, to be rewarded for his efforts. "Leave it to me. I'll take care of the job in the hospital. From what I hear, you're diligent and sincere, so there should be no problem." And so, Brandon secured re-employment at the headquarters and a transfer to a better hospital for his mother. "But President Baker, why are you so good to someone like me?" I couldn't believe it when I heard. Brandon said with a puzzled look. I smiled and replied, "Didn't I tell you, Brandon? If you work hard and live honestly, you'll always be rewarded. If you're working hard, rest assured, there's always someone watching and appreciating your efforts. There are also those who will offer a helping hand when you need it. I don't want to be someone who attacks others for laughs. I'd aspire to be someone who extends a helping hand. I'm motivated to work hard so that those who do the right thing